I'm gonna hang here on the patio for the. Oh yeah, notorious. We're not starting yet. Let me see. Where did it go?
Hey, you there?
George, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just on an appraisal right now. Selling.
Nice.
Okay.
Glad to see somebody's working. Every agent comes up to me and immediately starts telling me how there's nothing going on. I'm like, dude, quit saying that. Stop it.
That negative energy out of here.
Right. Even at the gym today, I'm like, no. I said, I'll have like 4 listings. The guy's like, what? I had to lower this. I said, well, price it right, man. What do you want me?
Yeah,
You got to get control of these people. They still have that hangover from what was happening. And you know what I mean? You're going to have to price down.
I mean, it's not rocket science. It's generate listing leads, get the listing, take some pictures, price it right, stick it in the MLS, sit back, period. You know?
Have you seen all the people freaking out because Remax is doing a settlement on that the seller's commission to the buyer's agent?
What are they doing? No, I haven't seen it.
So it's Remax, and I think it said like Renco or something, which owns like Guarantee. It owns like a whole bunch of other ones. Supposedly, there was that lawsuit that was filed a while back that NAR's fighting regarding the how the agents weren't disclosing, I guess, apparently to their clients that the sellers were paying for the buyer's commission, and so there's this huge lawsuit that NAR's fighting, but Remax and this other entity, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I have to look it up. They're doing a settlement. They're settling out of court supposedly, and so everybody's thinking that NAR is going to lose the case.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, that just there's like this constant battle, right? Where, I do believe one day there'll be a point in time where, I mean, we'll see where a buyer's agent could be very similar to like an Uber driver, where they
Yeah.
just get like some small flat fee. Cause think about it, like I just, like the listing I'm at right now, they found me on Google under, a Claremont appraiser. And then, of course they talked to a few other agents, but then they went with me because, the whole, marketing program and the whole, Mr. Claremont perception and being local, right? But then number two, I just got another listing from a print mail campaign. And you check this out, George. Like, think about it like this, brother. It's like the home's worth 1.2 million, right? And I think I told you, I go on the listing point and she goes, well, what's your listing side fee? And I'm like, well, she goes, isn't it 7%? And I said, no, it's 8%. And and I explain, my time, my value, because I'm selling my time to help you as a client. And I invest heavy into marketing, and my goal is to bid it up substantially. So then it's just a gorgeous home in Claremont with an ADU worth $1 million too, right? So when I take, let's say 60 great photos, but I just launched the 5 best photos and I launched it in the MLS for $1,050,000, right? Priced it right. And I put the buyer's agent commission as $2, literally $2.
Wow.
Then I put the short code system out there. And then we're talking today, not in the future. And what would you do if your client goes on Zillow and says, hey, Mr. President, show me this property? What are you going to say? No? And then let's
Right.
say they show the property and they love it because it's a home run property. It's 150 grand under market. And then I'm just picking and choosing. All you could do as an agent is submit a buyer agent commission form, and we could just deny it. And that'd be an awkward conversation. You're going to say to your buyer, hey, I'm only getting paid $2 to represent you. They're going to say, sorry, George, we want the home. What do we got to do? Then you're going to
Right.
have to say, well, you need to pay me. And then if he talks to Mr. Claremont at the open house and texts the short code, I'm just going to say what? We'll direct a, 2%, commission towards your closing costs. And I'm still getting paid 8% on the listing. Like, that's just straight power. You see what I'm saying?
It's crazy. I mean,
so like when you think about it, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's absolutely crazy. I mean, that it's going to change the landscape of a lot of things, but you're currently doing that right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think about it, like every buyer's agent is just an Uber driver. So if you're not positioning yourself to be an authority as a listing agent and a brand that reflects that in a marketing platform that generates local listing leads, you're not going to survive. Like, that's all DLE does, right? But it's powerful because why? Think about it. It's just, not only am I leveraging it out there and all the buyers come to the open house and they bail on their agents. Sure, George. Yeah, let's say you come to the open house of your client, you're getting paid $2, right? But if your client writes the offer with us, if you click the dual variable compensation option in the MLS right next to the commission, right? Then guess what happens? That means you could legally offer an incentive to the buyers to write the offer direct with you. Maybe you don't charge the seller as much commission, right? And then what do you say? Hey, buyer, you're doing an appraisal, a home inspection, a termite inspection. What do you need your agent for, right? Here's the Claremont Bulletin. Check out all my sales. I'm legit and credible. Why are we going to pay him $2 to handle the paperwork when I could do it for you? Then what are you going to say?
Right.
Yeah, I literally say it to your face, oh, is that your Uber driver? Because if you and I were on the same listing appointment, you just got to be clear, like, that's your direct competition, right? But the whole George, sit tight.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, team. Oh, you guys are in the office today? We got Mr. Long Beach, Miss Laguna Hills. Woo!
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here, closing a deal because I ranked high for the appraisal keyword. Got the listing, double-ended it, so I just met the appraiser, just out here in the field.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Just gotta, stay in the trenches here with you guys,
Hey, I got exciting news. I remember I flipped to the service area, and I dropped off for Fresno real estate, and I had been, rated like the top 5 for a while. And then I dropped off on Fresno Realtor and a couple other ones. Now I've been #1 the past 3 days for Fresno real estate, and number in the top 5 on all the other ones. I haven't checked Fresno appraisal, but the last few days, but I'm starting to track it.
Congratulations. See, I told you it'd repopulate. See, like what, that's what I want to talk about with everyone today is, because Miss Laguna Hills, she went on a listing appointment on, ranking with one of her keywords, but it's really exciting right now. I mean, I'm excited we have Sherry with us, but, we have, the massive upgrade. Sherry, you with us yet? Let me see here.
I'm here. Yep.
Oh, you're here? There she is. Okay, sorry.
Of course I'm here.
Love your voice. You got a therapeutic voice. But yeah, we're gonna talk Google listing hacks with our Google product expert, the woman, the myth, the legend, Sherry Benelli, and then I'm gonna talk about a lot of new upgrades we've made in regards to content and other Google listing hacks, and we'll verify it with Sherry. So Sherry, why don't you take the ball and get it rolling here?
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So what we're going to talk about today is suspensions. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So what I'd like to talk about first is some of the reasons why we see listings get suspended. And then I'm going to talk about the biggest news. I'm going to have to fast forward through a few slides that are old, but there's a new suspension process that's happening in the EU first because of some privacy laws that they have over in the EU that Google has to comply with. But it's going to be rolling out here in the States probably within the next month to month and a half to 2 months. And so I have screenshots of that new process. So I want everybody to be aware that it's coming here. And so you have to be hyper vigilant. If you get your listing suspended, you have to know exactly what to do. Now, just be aware that these are, I would say, almost like beta screenshots because Google is refining that process. I think they're getting a lot of feedback from people on that workflow, what we call a workflow. And so I think there will be changes to that process, but just know that these are like hot off the press. We were told last week that we could talk about it. And so I was one of the first people to tweet about it. So it was very exciting news. So you guys are getting a hot off the press information that I would say probably 90%, 90+% of the other realtors don't know about yet. So this is pretty exciting news. But I wanted to talk about some of the reasons why a Google Business Profile gets suspended, some of the common reasons why your listing could get suspended. And one of the first reasons would be keyword stuffing your business name. And that's why it's so important that if you do have the word real estate or realtor in your business name, that it's actually legally part of your business name, either through your LLC or incorporation, or you have a DBA or fictitious business name, depending on how your state has it set up. So make sure that whatever keywords you have in your business name are legitimately part of your legal business entity, and that it's on your branding, it's on your logo, it's on your website. When you mention your name, spell it out that that's exactly what your business name is. When you have your name, address, phone number, if you have that on the bottom footer of your website, that you have the full business name spelled out so that when Google compares it to your website, it matches. Okay. Because otherwise that's a common reason for suspensions. Using a PO box or UPS store address is another common reason. So don't even try it because Google knows where all the UPS and USPS locations are at. So don't even try using that. And another reason along with that are virtual offices and co-working spaces. Virtual offices are definitely a no-no, and co-working spaces, there are a lot of requirements that you have to have in order to have a co-working space. And so I would just say, don't even bother trying to get a co-working space because in all likelihood, you're not going to meet the requirements. Reports of violations. This would be if other people report your business as violating using either a redressal form or doing suggested edits. And I'll give you an example of one thing that's happening to two of my clients, actually. They're in the RV repair category, but what's happening is one or more of their competitors are making suggested edits and also marking their business as permanently closed. And so whenever we go in to mark the business as open, it's automatically triggering a suspension. And these poor businesses have literally been suspended like 6 to 8 times over the last 3 months. Okay, so if your competitors are making suggested edits to your location or reporting you, that can trigger a suspension as well. So just be aware if you have malicious or evil competitors, they can cause your Google Business Profile to go down. And it's really, really irritating and frustrating. So for instance, I got one of my RV clients reinstated on Friday. It was back down on Saturday. I got it back up on Saturday. It was down again on Monday. And that was because competitors are just sabotaging them. And so it's really, really frustrating for the business owner as well as for me, who has to try and get them back up again.
So Sherry, do you know who is doing it?
I don't know. I've asked Google to investigate who's making those edits, but whether or not they're going to do that, I don't know. So Google can see which email account is making those edits, but unless that email account is directly tied to that competitor's Google business profile, then they're not going to know either. So, I mean, I'm hoping that the competitor is stupid and is using their email address tied to their Google business profile, and Google will hopefully suspend them, but whether or not they will or not, I don't know. I've escalated it to our forum that only product experts can do, with the hope of maybe locking that profile so that it doesn't keep getting suspended. But whether or not Google will do that, I don't know.
Yeah, I see that kind of stuff happening in
Mhm.
our line of work.
Yep. Yep. So if you have one of those competitors that's out to get you, it's really frustrating, from both the business perspective, because, they're losing, I think, probably about 10 grand a week if their profile goes down. And so that's quite a bit of money for them. So,
Oh, people in my area are so protective of their area that if my sign were to pop up, I mean, to them, that's, 50, 60, $70,000 that they're losing. So they would have no problem doing it to me.
exactly. Yep. And so that's why you need to make sure that you're following the guidelines. The problem is because they're already on Google's radar for suspension, any change will trigger a suspension. And so that's why when they're marked permanently closed, that's considered a big change. And so Google automatically will suspend the profile. So it's kind of a defect in the system or in the process, because they're already on Google's radar as being like one of those, they've already been suspended. So we're going to suspend them automatically if there's any big changes. But it's like, this is just getting ridiculous type of thing. And the competitors know that they can take them down. And so they just keep doing it. And so it's just really frustrating. So
You want to be a sniper, you just hit the permanently close your competitor's business, and that's how you can just drop a bomb. That's interesting to know. And especially nothing, they don't have DVAs to protect it. It's like, see ya.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that either, because then you're going to get suspended if you do that too. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that to a competitor, because then you can get in trouble for violating Google's terms of service as well. So it's not something that you want to get in the habit of doing unless they're truly violating guidelines. Okay, so just want to stress that point. So don't be out there doing that unless they truly are violating guidelines, like name guidelines or something like that. So don't do it, because that can get you in trouble as well. So, I mean, my goal is to hopefully have Google investigate and see who's making these changes so that they can get in trouble for making malicious edits. But you don't want to make malicious edits either, okay? Because that can get your Google business profile in trouble, okay? Listing your business is open 24/7 if you're not really available to consumers 24/7. So a lot of people that have storefront locations will say, well, I answer my phone 24/7. Well, if you have a storefront listing, that's really meant to be the hours that customers can come in and see you at that business location. So that often can trigger a suspension as well. A URL on your Google business profile that redirects, or a social media URL that will also sometimes trigger a suspension. So make sure that you don't have a redirect URL or a social media URL on your Google business profile. And then again, if you change from a service area business to a storefront, or vice versa, if you change from a storefront to a service area business, or if you change your business name, that can also trigger suspensions as well. The other thing is, if you have more than one listing at the same location, that is a red flag to Google, and that will also trigger a suspension in many cases. Your Google business profile account is, Yeah,
Can
go
I ask
ahead.
a question real quick?
Yeah.
On the previous slide, you said that on the GBP, the URL you add to your GBP can redirect to another website. Doesn't all of our URLs redirect to the designated local expert website? So
You
is
have,
that
let me just interject on that. So, Mr. Long Beach, you have a dedicated landing page that's directly connected. She's saying, like, if you had, the URL mrlongbeach.com and that forwarded to your SEO optimized landing page, that's what a redirect is.
understood? Okay, thank you, thank you.
Yep, good question. Good question. Yep. Your Google Business Profile account is associated with suspended or disabled listings that can sometimes cause your listings to go down if your Google Business Profile account is basically associated with bad actors. And so that can be a problem. Reports of review gating, and that's basically when you're using a third-party tool to try and get reviews, and that third-party tool does what we call review gating. And that's when you don't allow people to leave, like let's say you ask them ahead of time, how was your experience with us? And they give you 3 stars. And once they give you 3 stars, you don't allow them to go immediately to Google Business Profile to leave a review. Instead, you have them redirect to, let's say, a form that they have to fill out. So you're not allowing them to leave a review on Google Business Profile because they're not giving you 4 or 5 stars. That's review gating, and that violates Google's terms of service. And so if you're using any type of review platform, make sure that they do not review gate, because that violates Google's terms of service. So if your site was hacked, or if you have malware on your site, that will sometimes cause Google to suspend your listing. If you get reports of fake reviews on your Google Business Profile, and believe me, there are people that come to the forum and will report fake reviews on their competitor's site, that will sometimes cause your listing to get suspended. So don't try and get your friends to leave reviews for you. Don't try and use gimmicks to try and get reviews, because if you're reported, that will cause your listing to get suspended.
Sure, you need a minimum of 10 reviews on your profile. And then what's the rule of thumb? You need at least 1 review a month to show that you're like, got the ball rolling with customers. Is there any new knowledge there?
Yeah, no, 10 is really the number in order to start really seeing some impact as far as rankings. So 10 is kind of the magic number in order for it to start impacting your rankings. And then there's no magic number as to how many reviews you should try and get every month. Obviously, you should try and get as many as you can, but don't send out a mass mailing to try and get, to all your entire listing of 150 or 300 people and try and get reviews all at once. Because if Google suddenly sees a huge influx of reviews, they're going to find that suspicious, and that could trigger a suspension too.
Question: what if the DLE group, because we're all colleagues, what if Mr. Long Beach posted in our Facebook group, "Hey guys, Mr. Long Beach," and let's say I did a little selfie and said, "Hey, love Mr. Long Beach. He's the best realtor in Long Beach. He's my trusted referral partner, and overall, just a good-looking, awesome guy." And I love. And we had a little party, and let's say we had 60 in this little this little group here, and we just can't we leave colleague reviews?
You can. I would be careful about that, because colleague reviews, I mean, I had an attorney that got some colleague reviews, and it was very obvious that they were colleagues. And so to end consumers, that doesn't look as authentic. And
Right.
so it just doesn't look as natural to the consumers. So you always want to think about, what will the consumers think when they come and look at my reviews? And so you want to think about that as well. So basically, anybody that has contact with your business can leave a review. So the UPS driver, if they have a bad experience with you, they can leave a review for you. So anybody that has contact with your business can leave a review, but you always want to think about, how will that review be perceived to my consumers? So the attorney that I worked with had his colleague leave a couple of reviews, and the reviews were really attorney-like, right? And so they didn't read very well. They were very highfalutin language, and I was just like, these reviews really suck, because if I was an end user looking for an attorney, I would just bypass those reviews and just know that, you know, that one attorney asked their colleague to leave that review. It would be pretty obvious. So always think about it from the end user's perspective before you do something like that.
So bottom line is Google's just, like we've always talked about, getting smarter and smarter, and they just want to, are you authentic? Are you real? Are you local? Are you credible? Do you provide unique, non-AI local content about real estate on your website? Are you backlinking to real estate websites? Are you getting legit reviews? Basically, Google keeps getting smarter and smarter, and when they do these updates consistently, it's just designed. It just keeps going towards the future, which is, are you a legit, local, credible expert that's providing consistent, reliable, legit information? And are you real? And then remember that thought, because I want to talk a little bit about generative AI, but keep going. No, this is great, Sherry. Keep going. Thank you.
Yeah. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is Google knows where you're physically located as a user. So if you're in Long Beach, California, and you leave a review for a realtor in New York, Google's going to say, you know, is that realistic that that person in Long Beach really actually used you know, real estate agent in New York too? So, you know, think about that kind of stuff too. You don't want anything that might look suspicious. So just keep that in mind as well. Another thing that's problematic is if you have multiple business profiles with the same phone number. There's a lot of small businesses that do that, where they set up multiple business profiles and use the same phone number. So that's a big fat red flag. Receiving too many Google reviews too fast. And then mismatched address on Google Business Profiles landing page. That would be if the address on your Google Business Profile doesn't match the address on your website. For instance, Google may say, is this really the same business? Is this really the same company? Why do the addresses not match? So that may be a red flag as well. And then if your map marker on your Google Business Profile is incorrectly placed, that could trigger a suspension. And then category confusion, adding categories that don't align. So for instance, if you're in real estate and you suddenly add a category that doesn't make any sense to the real estate category, Google may say, something's not right here. They seem to be maybe gaming the system. So that goes again to anytime you change major information on your Google Business Profile, that's a possible reason for suspension. And then
Hey, Sherry,
Yeah.
Jeff, can we go back one to the incorrectly placed map marker?
Yep.
How do you control that? I mean, wouldn't that be done via the address that you originally enter?
Yeah, sometimes the map markers can get out of place, and there's a specific Google Maps product expert forum for that, and where you can request that they get placed correctly if they get placed incorrectly. So sometimes that does happen.
There's no way that we can adjust how those are correct, that those are placed though, right?
You can't, I think you can go into your Google Business Profile, and in your address, I think you can go over and drag the map marker to the right spot. When you're in your address area, there's the box with your map. So I think you can drag that. But if for some reason your map marker is not in the right location, you can go to the Google Maps help forum, and they can probably help you with that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Mismatched name, address, phone number. Again, if they find with highly authoritative sites like the Better Business Bureau or Data Axle, or you know, some of those highly authoritative trusted sites, that your name, address, and phone number doesn't match, that could be a trigger as well. And then presence of stock photos on your Google Business Profile, that can cause a suspension. That's not very likely, but it's been known to happen.
Hey, Sherry, I'm sorry to keep going back to that pin, but what happens if you've changed your business to a service area, but your website still has a pin to an address? Can that trigger a suspension, or?
Well, you wouldn't want to have a Google map on your website If you're a
That's what I
service area
thought.
business.
Thank
Yep,
you.
you'd want to take that off. You can still have your address listed. So for instance, I'm a service area business, but I have my address listed on my website because I do have other online directories where I do have my address displayed. And so I don't have a problem with it, but Google knows my address because I had to enter it in order to claim and verify my listing. And so that's okay for me to do.
Thank
But
you.
I don't have a map to it on my website.
Hey, Sherry,
Yes.
I just received a call from the Business Listing Center in Washington. I don't know if that's a legit call or, a spam. Indicating that my business is flagged for review.
Yep, that's a spam call.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Anytime you get calls like that, Google doesn't make
I've
up
been
for it.
getting hammered with
What's that? That's a spam, right? So I don't
Yeah.
need.
Yeah. Google
Okay.
doesn't make outgoing calls like that.
Okay, good to know.
So,
Hey.
yep.
is killing the game. She's ranking high and she's doing well. So but keep going, Sherry, because I got some
Sure.
updates. Okay, go.
Yep. All right. And so you have an online only business. Nope, it's a no-no. Online only businesses don't get to have one. Your address or hours don't match with what's listed on your website or other online business directories. Two businesses is at the same address. That is a problem as well. In most cases, you have a service area business and are displaying your physical address on your Google business profile. That is a no-no as well. And a manager on your listing got an account level suspension. So your listing got suspended because they got their account suspended. And that's problematic. So if you have any digital marketing agency helping you with your Google business profile, just know that if they screw up and you get your Google business profile account suspended because of their screw up, you're stuck. Because if Google won't reinstate your listing because of something that agency did, you can't create a new listing. You're done. And so you need to make sure that you're working with an agency that knows what they're doing and that they're not going to violate any guidelines, because you can't create a new listing if you don't get reinstated.
Sherry?
Yes.
Hi. So
Hi.
if is Google okay if we use our Google Voice number, or if we change our phone number and put Google Voice number?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and make sure that one of is it a local area code number? Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. But just keep in mind that any big changes that you make to your profile, there's always a likelihood of a suspension. So make sure you have all your documentation ready to go in case you get suspended. But yeah, you can use tracking phone numbers. Google doesn't have a problem with that at all. Yep.
And Sherry, didn't you also recommend that don't do like more than one change at a time, right?
Yep. That's my tip. Don't make a lot of changes in one sitting. So don't sit there and update your business name and then upload a bunch of photos and then decide to create some Q&As and then decide that you're going to make a couple posts. Don't do all that at one sitting. So I always say make a change and then walk away for a while, and then maybe come back in 2 hours and then make another change, or even make another change the next day. Because if you make a lot of changes all at once, that can be suspicious as well, and that can trigger a suspension. So it's just best to make a change. And the other thing is, if you get suspended and get reinstated, leave the profile alone for about a week or so before you touch it again. Like, don't make any changes to it. Just let it sit for a bit. Don't go in and make any changes to it, because that can trigger another suspension. So just let the profile sit for a little bit, let it settle down, let it get up and running, and then make some changes in about 4 or 5 days. Okay. So let me go ahead and go to the new appeal process, which is very exciting and very new. And one of the reasons why they're doing this is because they're giving more transparency as to why your business profile got suspended. They're basically giving you a tip as to why your business profile got suspended, whereas before they didn't really tell you why. And so if your business profile gets suspended, you're going to get an email from them saying that your business profile has been disabled or suspended. And it's going to give you information about the violation type. And you're going to be able to click on the appeal link within the email itself. And so basically anybody who's a manager or an owner on the account is going to get this email. So it's very important that you let everybody know who's a manager or an owner on this account that, you know, if we get suspended, who's going to do this? Because you don't want anybody that doesn't know what they're doing going through this process. That's very, very important. I would say only the owner should go through this process because hopefully you will know what to do. So just make sure you kind of give everybody heads up that if you get this email, don't go through this process. I'm going to be the one to do it. Or you're going to hire somebody to do it that knows what they're doing or something, because it's going to be very, very tricky if you have somebody that does it and they don't know what they're doing and they don't have the right information. So you're going to click on the appeal button. That's going to take you to the manage your appeals on Google Business Profile. You need to be logged in using your email address that you use to manage your Google Business Profile. So that's going to be very important. So you'll confirm that. And then it's going to tell you why your business profile was suspended. So basically they're saying the business profile doesn't exist. Basically they're saying the business doesn't exist. And so they'll give you a link that you can click on to go to the guidelines that will talk about that reason as to why it got suspended. And so from there, you're going to go ahead and click continue. And then it's going to ask you, are you ready to submit upload your evidence? Now, the flaw here is they're asking you to upload evidence, but they're not telling you what evidence you have to upload. So this was one of the suggestions I made, is you need to list here what the evidence is, because you only have 60 minutes to upload the evidence. If you don't upload the evidence within 60 minutes, Google will not consider the evidence. But they don't tell you at this stage what the evidence is. So that's something that I hope they fix. At this point, they should tell you what evidence needs to be uploaded, but they don't. So if you're ready to upload the evidence, you would click continue. And then at this point, again, it's kind of confusing because they say 100%, but what you need to do is you need to click on the fill out this form in order to attach your evidence. So again, if you're not paying attention, you might think that you're done, but what you need to do is where it says your appeal has been registered, to attach evidence to your submitted appeal, please fill out this form. And you have 60 minutes to do it. If you don't do it within that time frame, Google won't consider your evidence, and chances are you won't get reinstated because you're not submitting evidence to prove that you're a legitimate business. Does that make sense, everyone? So the clock starts ticking, but there's no timer, unfortunately. So these are the documents that are accepted. So official business registration, business license, tax certificate, or utility bill. And again, everything must display the business name and address that matches the profile that you're appealing. And the utility bill must display the same business name and address as your registration license and tax certificate. So again, that must also match your Google Business Profile name and address. And the utilities can be either electricity, phone, gas, water, sewage, trash, recycling, TV, or internet. So these are the documents that you're allowed to submit.
Can the your utility bill, for instance, if you're using your home as the office business, the utility bill is probably it's going to come to Jeff Bannon, not Mr. Warsaw Real Estate.
That's why you need to get it changed.
So I'd actually have to have the utility company bill it to the business name.
Yep. And do that now. Start this process now, because if you get suspended, you're going to have that documentation. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and call your cell phone company and have them switch it over to your business name.
So these are the future shields, like DBAs. And the other thing that I'm curious about, because that's been sitting in the back of my mind, is my brick and mortar's my home. what is considered permanent signage to put out front? So when the Google card goes by and takes the photo, it's like, bam, there it is. Cause I know that's something else that happens. Cause I don't ever want to flip into it because it's been so entrenched with brick and so,
Oops, you're cutting out.
you know, for example, Mr. Oh, can you know? We good?
Yep.
So we got like shield number 1, DA, Mr. Claremont Real Estate, right? Shield number 2, yeah, call the cell phone company, utility bill companies for future shields to change it to Mr. Claremont Real Estate. But I guess my question is, does the sign have to be lit up, or could it just be some sort of outdoor permanent looking wooden sign that says Mr. Claremont Real Estate? And I want to put it, like, for example, above my garage. So when I know the Google car drives by, which seems to be more frequent, by the way, that they can be like, oh yeah, there it is, Mr. Claremont Real Estate.
Yeah, you'd want it in your yard probably. If I would recommend, I can show you a screenshot of somebody in Hiawatha that has a home business. I can find that slide. I think I have it in this deck.
But with that being said, for some HOAs, they don't allow you to advertise any kind of business on your car, on anything. So how would you bypass that?
So you'd have to be a service area business and hide your address.
And
Yes,
you know,
that's what I have.
yeah,
Yep.
missed out notes. You know, Mr. Fresno just flipped to a service area and he panicked, which I did too for you know, about a week, but then it recalculated. And I think maybe explain to, you know, us, because we have this fear. It's like when you're not a brick and mortar, it substantially ranks you, but we're learning it really does. I mean, we know it's a factor out of like the 200 factors, but it's doesn't seem like it'll just sink you to the bottom. Like service
It
area.
depends on the interest. It really depends on the industry and your competitors. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of realtors are service area businesses because they work out of their home. And
Mhm.
so you're competing against a lot of other service area businesses. So, I mean, like
Okay.
I'm a service area business and I rank really high, even against some of the competitors that have brick and mortars. So it just really depends. It depends on your overall online presence.
Right.
So it just really depends.
And I'm not sure, but I think it also helps. So I had missed, and Sherry showed me, because I did a one-on-one with her. She showed me how to go in and select the categories, and apparently I had never. I thought I did, but I didn't have like all the categories filled out. I said, "Wait, what do you mean category?" And so when we went in there, we put in real estate and like realtor, and I forget which the other one was. There was like 3 of them that really hit closer to it. And so, like I said, I originally I disappeared completely, scared the bejesus out of me, because I was like, you looked up Mr. Fresno, and I wasn't even showing at all. Mr. Madera was, which is my business partner, and then in the Fresno real estate, I scrolled, which I was always in the top 5 for the longest time, and I kept scrolling. I could never find me, and so it took a few days, and then all of a sudden it resetted. Mr. Claremont told me, "Hey, it reset." And I was like, man, I still don't see it here. And then now I like the past 3 days, like I said, I've scored number 1 for Fresno real estate, and in the top 5 for a couple others, in the top 3 for most. So I'm still trying to get the appraisal one up, but I know I haven't hit that.
Well, you could write next to the service description, I think a 300 character account describing the service. Is that the service area, Sherry, or is that a different? I know you could click something like realtor, and then you could type in like, hey, I'm the best real estate agent in Fresno. I focus on homeowners in Fresno, right?
Yeah, the description doesn't impact rankings. And so you don't want to say that you're the best of anything in your description. So you don't want to make any claims that aren't necessarily true in your description. So you want to be realistic about in your description, because Google actually reads the descriptions in some cases. So you want to be real careful about that.
And speaking of reading content, so I'm having, I've hired a lot of good writers to help redo the bios on the websites for our members that are connected to the landing pages, because they're like standard cookie cutter ones. And I wanted to have like unique non-AI, non-plagiarized content that's like, writing unique bios with some of their keywords on their website. And then I think that takes it to my next, because I know that'll help them because everyone's competition is different depending on their city, right? So the internet's not only location specific, but for Google business profiles, it's city specific. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sherry, but I've been having, fun conversations with Bard and generative AI, just, kind of picnicking here and there. It just seems like the future of SEO really comes down to just providing good, consistent, quality, local content. For our case, as a real estate agent, I'm looking at Mr. Chatsworth. We have like unique content that's talking about, how to prepare your home for sale specifically in Chatsworth, California, or 10 of the best neighborhoods in Chatsworth, California. And we're writing that content on the blog. And to take it a step further, if there's opportunities for our members, which we've had like a lot of these good writers where, they're doing, let's say it's a real estate website, right? And it's like backlinking to where we did a guest post article on a real estate website, let's say with a domain authority score above 60. And in the author bio on the guest post blog has an about Mr. Chatsworth real estate, and it has his Google business profile link. And that backlinks to his landing page connected to his profile. So when Google crawls and scans, it's going to see, wow, look at Mr. Chatsworth real estate, his unique bio. His blog is consistently spitting out once a week, unique, awesome real estate content. And hey, look, there's a logo link on here that backlinks to this beautiful guest blog he wrote on a real estate website, specifically talking about Chatsworth real estate, and all that content's legit. It seems to me like that's a very important factor in the whole overall pie ranking. Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so so guest blogging is really important because that's going to help present you as an expert and an authority. So that goes back to Google's helpful content system, which has been rolling out. They just had an update in September. And so, yeah, if you can write on other real estate websites, and then include your bio and then include a link to your website, that's really important.
So two things: link to the website, the landing page that's connected, or Mr. Chatsworth, for example, we'll link it to .com because he's one of the independent guys. But then I heard in the author bio, you don't want to overdo the links. Like maybe in the whole article, just Chatsworth appraiser, right? So that's my question. Like if we do, like, let's say Mr. Chatsworth is like, hey, I just want to get in the game hard and I just want to dominate appraisal, right? Because Mr. Chatsworth real estate could be perceived as an appraisal company, and it could be perceived as like a property management company. And if he wants to dominate that keyword, it'd be wise for his blog content to be talking about appraisals. And let's say he did a backlinking guest post on a real estate website, and the key appraiser backlink to his website, but in the author bio, we also put a link to his Google business profile.
That won't matter.
That won't matter?
No. Mm-mm.
Because Google will scan to the website and then see his Google business is connected to that website, and that's good enough?
Yeah, I mean, linking to your Google business profile isn't beneficial as far as rankings go. So what Google wants to see is you being an expert in your industry, and that's going to help rank your content. And that's what you want.
We want that. We want to be city specific, and got it.
Yep, especially in search generative experience, which is what the future of Google is going to be. It's going to look for expertise and authority and experience. And so the more you can show that, the better off you're going to be. And so guest blogging on industry related websites is helpful. Often, unfortunately, you don't get to choose whether or not they link or don't link back to you as well. So they often have guidelines as far as what they're going to allow your bio to do too. So just keep that in mind as well.
Question on that. So let's say Mr. Chatsworth, right? Let's say DLE, because we got a pretty high domain authority score, relevancy, and it's that. I mean, it's pretty solid. We're transferring a lot of link juice, but we're creating author pages on the DLE website. where it'll point back to him. And then maybe on that author page, let's say we put logo links of guest post backlinking articles he did on real estate websites.
Mhm.
Then
That-
a Google crawl backlinking, then that's how we're transferring, I guess, link juice, blog juice, domain authority and relevancy direct to Mr. Chatsworth. And if I focus on some keywords like appraisal, because shoot, I just got 3 listings because, I'm ranking internationally for the keyword appraisal in Claremont, and it's big money. Like I double in, and I just put 60 in the bank. I was just at an appraisal for one. I double into that one. It was 800 at 4%, but it's 40 something grand. I mean, but they're seeking me out. So when you're a real estate agent, someone seeks you out. It's oh, gotta take it back, right? But it's interesting because the consumers perceive me as the local expert for Claremont. Like Google wants it, and so do the consumers.
Right.
And so it's just. Yeah, so how with the Mothership DLE website, everyone's got their own author pages. They don't know about this stuff, but it's what we're doing on the back end. And when we're doing these get backlinking, we're creating, it's like a 3-tier, linking system where Google crawls, their landing pages. It goes to their Google business profile, and then it goes to their author page on DLE. But we're all connected through backlinking. And it's beautiful because I've learned from you, it makes us extremely powerful as a user, because in our industry, Sherry, most, real estate brokers try to get in between the agent and their commission, right? They don't want to buy on Google because then they don't need them, right?
Right.
And then they try to do that because they can collect a referral fee, right? And that's the next thing. But we're the industry's first in the real estate world to create a really powerful agent-centric virtual office, because you're connected to the rest of us through interlinking on the website, right? And then backlinking through guest post blogs, and you got the unique content going. That's major SEO and link juice, right?
Yeah. So on the bio page, what you'd want to do is put other articles, other articles, and then link to those other articles. So if they have a guest blog on another real estate website, put the name of the article and then link back to that article
in the actual blog on
the bio page.
But let's say, could you do that on the guest post backlinking author page? So for example, let's say
on your
Miss
bio,
Mission Viejo writes a beautiful article on Mission Viejo real estate on you still see me, Sherry?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep.
Sherry, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh,
So
hear me?
yeah, so basically on the bio page, what you'd want to do is have a photo, the bio, and then put other articles, and then basically list all the other articles that you've written, and then link to those other articles on the bio page.
Right.
That's typically what's on the bio page.
Right. Have it backlink to the
Could we use interviews from articles? I've been interviewed by the OC Register in the past, so I don't know if that would help with link into any blocks.
Yep, you can do that. You could do other. You could say other articles and interviews. Put it like that. Yep.
Yeah.
If you're interviewed on podcasts and stuff like that, that would work. So you could do other articles and interviews. That's what I would do. So try and get interviewed on podcasts too. You know what I mean? How do you get your
DLE
home?
podcast?
Well, even other podcasts too. I mean, look for other podcasts to get interviewed on.
I know. I'm just giving Anthony an idea.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Huntington Beach, I mean, at the last live mastermind. So, when you Google Mr. Huntington Beach real estate and you check out your blog, we're giving you all that, keyword infused rich content. But I also have, writers I'm invested in they're going to be giving you, one of our members 2 to 3 backlinks per month. That's going to shoot you through the roof. They're all, real estate relevant websites, and that's going to increase your landing page domain authority score relevancy. and it's going to shoot you through the roof in the SEO, because on DLE you have an author page, you got a landing page, and it's all connected through. It's called a three-tier backlinking structure, and I've got that whole angle covered. But you're right, the future could be a little podcast with us and get that ball rolling. I guess one more question, that just came to my mind. I've recently heard, Sherry, that social sharing is big in SEO. Remember how we talked on, if we're getting messages back and forth on, your Google business profile, but let's say Mr. Claremont shares on his social media, or DLE shares on their social media, a post that Mr. Huntington Beach Real Estate did. Would that help increase SEO, social shares?
I mean, like, sharing on social media can help you, because, like, let's say you wrote an article and you share it on social media and people click to that article. That helps because people are visiting that page. So Google sees that page as being relevant. So that can help your rankings. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and keep going with this new suspension process if I can. So then you're going to get to the profile appeals page, and this is where you're going to enter your email account, your business name, business address, and profile ID. The nice thing is this was already pre-populated, which was a joy. You didn't have to enter all this information in. It was already pre-populated. So that was a really nice usability upgrade compared to what you have to do currently now with the reinstatement request form. And the other downside is they only give you 2 options to upload, even though they give you multiple things that you can upload. So my suggestion was to have the opportunity to upload 4 different items instead of just 2. So you can upload more proof that you're a legitimate business. I don't know whether or not they're going to do that or not. So my recommendation would be to upload a utility bill for sure, and then also upload a business license or your LLC, but definitely a business license and a utility bill. But there's other things you can upload, but if you have to choose, I would upload the business license and the utility bill. Those would be the 2 things. And then they give you a box where you can provide additional information as to why you should be reinstated. Definitely take the time to fill that out. And then the question is, are you requesting reinstatement for 10 or more locations? Chances are you're going to answer no to that question. And then you press submit. Keep in mind that you only have 1,000 characters that you can use in that box, so use that box wisely. Now, the upload items, you can upload zipped files. So if you wanted to, you could upload multiple items and then zip them up and upload a zip file. Most people aren't going to think of that though, but you can do that if you want to upload multiple items. And then your Google Business Profile Management will show that you have submitted your appeals and that it is submitted. And then you will get an email letting you know whether or not your appeal was approved or whether you were denied. And so the hope is that if you were denied, that you will get another chance to reappeal. We don't know what that workflow looks like yet. There was word at first that it was going to be a one and done, where if you get denied at this stage, you are pretty much done. But the word is now that there will be a way for you to reappeal if you get denied this time, but you're going to have one chance to reappeal. You won't get any more chances. So you can't keep going back to Google and asking again. So we don't know what that reappeal workflow looks like yet, but there will be one reappeal process that you can go through. So just know that suspensions are real serious. And so, if you don't make the reappeal process, you just won't have a Google business profile anymore. You're not going to be able to recreate another one because that will likely get suspended right away as well. So just know that it's very, very important that you follow the guidelines. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? Nope, no questions.
You pretty much covered it all. Solid.
Hey,
All
Sherry.
right. Yep.
Just out of curiosity, if we were to get suspended, would we reach out to you to help, or would
Yeah, I
Okay.
can help with suspensions. Yes, I can help
Okay.
with suspensions. Yep. I would say don't touch anything. Don't click the button. Don't click the button. Go
Okay.
come to me. I can help double check to make sure all your information is organized and correct. I can help you with with the appeal process, and you can add me as a manager. I'll go ahead and take care of the appeal process and the reappeal process and that type of stuff. So yeah, I can do that, but just like don't press the button.
Okay, don't press the button.
Don't press the button.
Got
Come to
it.
me first. Yeah. Don't
Thank you,
press the
Sherry.
button. Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, Miss Laguna Hills, Mr. Long Beach, pretend it's a big bomb, and she's the bomb specialist.
Yep.
She
Yep.
knows don't cut the blue wire, cut the red wire. Like, let her do it. Just don't connect with her, and she'll get you rolling.
Yeah. Don't touch the button.
Okay, Sherry, can you shed some light like on generative AI? So it's coming up, I think, sooner than later. And
It's already here.
It's here. And it's just, I don't know, what comes to your mind? Like what do you want to talk? Basically, Google My Business is kind of getting married with Bard, and then Bard and Google My Business have come together, and then they're just gonna, I guess, people are gonna be, they're just looking for experts, city specific to recommend. I mean, do you have any other new knowledge on that or anything there?
Let me see if let me drag this over. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not if I drag it over. Can you see my screen can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is basically search generative experience. If I generate this way, I'm looking for realtors in Cedar Rapids, and I'm clicking the generate. So basically, this is what the local pack's going to look like. It could look like. So SGE is kind of in beta right now. But when I search for realtors Cedar Rapids, for instance, it basically says Cedar Rapids, Iowa has many real estate agents, including the ones, here. And so you can see there's a place for us to search here where it will list some realtors up in this area. But then also there's 5 in the local pack. But you can also see that that's all there is 5. There's no local finder.
That's interesting. That little menu bar.
Yep. And they have one over here too.
See where I've done really well with the brand designation as Mr. Claremont, Sherry, is like, let's say like there's 5. Like, see, like when you look at that screen, it's like for sale homes, Pinnacle. The key is for us, we want to be considered to go on the listing appointment. And what we've learned, what I've always known is that I'm always considered for the call. Let's say the person's going to call 2 or 3 agents. They see, these, most people, it's like the ones popping up are like this perception of like a big real estate office with a bullpen of agents. But what the consumer wants, like you see, Scogham Realty, they want an individual. They want an agent that's a local expert that they could, click on and ask some questions to.
Right.
It's like, that's where I've smashed on all my competition, because they'll see like, Keller Williams, Remax, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm talking about Google Business. I'm not touching generative AI yet, but yeah, it's like, so even if you're not in the top 3, when they click search more results, like I'm always considered for the call on the listing appointment, but it seems like you got to be in that top 5, and that's what it's coming down to. And if you're not, or on that little menu, and if you don't stand out as a local expert, you're not going to really be considered for that phone call.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the scary thing for local businesses is normally you would have the opportunity. I'm sorry, I think my computer screen. You would have that opportunity to click on more and see more businesses. Right now with SGE, search generative experience, there's not that opportunity. So you just have 5.
Right. So you bet. So DLE, everyone, you better be on it because it's already here. And see, I even downloaded the Google app, the little Google app, and it just gives you generative AI only. It's kind of interesting. You know, like how you download Google Chrome or Safari. And yeah, so basically it's like you better get your act together and really get your nap consistency dialed in and posting local content and focus on getting reviews and following all the steps, because if you don't, the future of the internet's simple. It's generative AI, and you're either in the top 5 and perceived as a local expert, or you just don't exist, period.
Right.
What about so at the bottom below the golden 5 are a few others. Are those links or just names?
Yeah, these
No.
aren't links. These are just names.
Yeah, and then there's the
And these are follow-up
scroll.
questions.
Then there's the scroll ribbons up above that look like a whole nother set of people.
Yep. Either that or they're like realtor.com, home light. But yeah, there's a few other businesses up here.
Those are like ads.
Are those sponsored post positions?
I don't know. They don't say sponsored on them. But one is Yelp, for instance. So I think they're pulling from organic results. They're not Google business profiles. They're actual websites. So these are Google business profiles. These are actual websites. So I think they're pulling from the organic listings.
Okay.
Yep. So it's just very interesting how the world is going to change.
Well, Sherry, like I said in the earlier part of this, it's what the consumers now want is a local expert, specific to their city. And so does Google. And you're either giving credible, legit information and perceived that way as a local authority, or you're not.
Right. There you are, Anthony.
And where? Oh, you're in Claremont right now?
Where to buy a home in Claremont, California.
Mr.
Yeah.
Claremont there?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
you see one? Mr. C must be doing something right. Listening
There
to
you
Sherry.
go.
I can see me on the map. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you might be like, who's the Mr. Claremont guy? He's on the map. He's in the generative AI. But see, like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like all my competitions, like these big real estate companies, they might call a Coldwell Banker or Remax and get some sort of, but they want a face. But see, Anthony's a local expert who can help with buying and selling homes in Claremont and the surrounding foothill community. So it doesn't damage my reputation because I can say, and he does the surrounding foothills. That's a whole other, Zoom we did on our membership. The experience it's called syndrome, experiencing this new identity, but it doesn't affect them getting business in other cities. So that's
Yep. And Anthony, I need to jump off because I have a 1 o'clock call that I need to make. But
Jerry,
yes.
we're gonna be in touch. Post in the Facebook group that sample sign for us, okay?
Okay, I will. Sounds good. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay,
bye-bye.
Stay with us for a second. Who's still here? You guys still with us?
Yep.
Okay. Real quick, Mr. Rancho sent me a message. Now, Mr. Rancho is a member, grinder, good dude. He has his own escrow company. He has his own lending company and title company, and he offers some sort of rev share program. I know Mr. Fontana, Miss Fontana, you guys are still with us. Bottom line is he wanted to let you know if you guys needed help, with, obviously expanding your business in regards to rev share. That's just another option, right? I know we did that mastermind at Legacy Escrow. They do it. But I don't know if he's still here with us, but he wanted me to just kind of.
I'm here. Sorry, guys. I actually had a client call me. Hi, everybody.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing? My name's Fadi, also Mr. Ranch Cucamonga. I hope everybody's having a blessed day. Anthony and I actually go way back. I think what he's doing here is incredible. I think that it's definitely the proof is in the pudding. I knew Anthony when he first started in real estate, and seeing where he is now because of being, Mr. Claremont and creating that vision and image for himself really has projected him in the right direction a lot faster than your average agent, which is great. So congratulations, Anthony, on that. So a couple things is, I'm one of the owners of Golden Sunset Escrows. And the great thing is right now, there's a few things that we're offering as well. I actually run Pacific Realty Group. If there's anything that you guys need help with, I know everybody has their own brokers. But this is a separate entity to me. I love just going out there and helping people grow, helping people do masterminds. I have 50 agents myself that I do the same thing with that Anthony's doing to help people grow. So I just wanted to introduce myself to you guys and be there for you as a teammate.
Love it. Well, thank you. I mean, yeah. So guys, bottom line is, if have you gotten your Mr. Rancho profile set up? How do they contact you?
So we're in the middle of it right now. We have, me, my schedule. I'm a massive Zillow partner, so I'm extremely busy with them. I'm flying out to Texas soon to talk to them about some stuff. But as of right now, I know everything's done. Everything's taken care of. We're just waiting for the articles of incorporation to be filed because I just signed up a little bit ago, and then we're going to start heavy. I have a team designated just for the DLE.
Love it.
That's all they touch, nothing else but that stuff.
Yeah, and I love Mr. Rancho, we record these Zooms so we could, we're gonna fire off the Zoom link to all the members, but it is, and if anyone is interested, what I love about Mr. Rancho is he's like one of those guys that actually kills it as a Zillow partner. He's, and I think it's rare. I believe, Zillow, for lead source, it just depends on, the market, obviously, but it's kind of interesting that he's, really crushed it and just killing the game in the whole Zillow angle. That's like a big part of what he does too. So he's got a lot of knowledge in that. I know nothing about that. So that's always interesting. But then more importantly, him owning his own escrow and
I think, Anthony, you broke out.
Guys, to really help grow your business and, obviously support marketing efforts. So.
Yeah, no, I would love just to get in touch with everybody individually and see how I can help and go from there. And if I don't hear from you guys, or if you guys ever need help in Rancho, and also another thing I would like to add, Anthony, real quick, we just expanded all throughout Southern California for getting leads through Zillow. So if you're an agent that is in an area that is slow or you're having trouble finding clients, I would like for you guys to reach out to Anthony, get in touch with me. I have now all of Orange County, Los Angeles County, Inland Empire, San Bernardino, and I need help. So if you guys would like to work with clients, you guys let me know. Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Irvine. I know that we got Mr. Huntington Beach in here. If you want to have a convo, man, I would love to have your help down there because the more the merrier. Plus, it's
Absolutely.
a 40-minute drive for me. I do have an office in Laguna, but Rancho's my hub, and that's where usually I am.
Absolutely, we can talk.
Sounds good, guys. Well, everybody, you have a blessed day. Anthony, thank you for the introduction.
Of course, guys. Okay, so that being said,
can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I talked to George yesterday on the phone. I think we need to really utilize our network as far as that's concerned, because I found an expired lead. It's an absentee homeowner here in Huntington Beach, and George and I are going to put it together because they actually live in Fresno. So we're actually going to be putting together a letter and some, bulletin information and just working on them, together. So, if you guys see stuff that's like, far away and you don't want to service it, let's connect. Yeah. I think let's collaborate as an actual network.
I agree. Real quick, Conrad or Mr. Huntington, I don't know how to really ask to get info, but I have a buyer fireman. Actually, Anthony knows him. He lives in Huntington. He lives in Huntington Beach and is looking for a home out there. So if you do have something, let me know. I'd love to get a minute.
Yeah, no, and definitely the referraling. I know Mr. Cypress and Mr. Phoenix did business together. You know, I just listed a home in Claremont. They want to buy in Monrovia, so I kicked it to Miss Monrovia. You know, so yeah, you know, bottom line is we're here to help each other grow, whether it's rev shares on escrow, title, lending. You know, all of our members have different unique skill sets, whether they're brokers or Zillow partners. So yeah, definitely. I mean, whether you collaborate in the, you know, the Facebook group or have questions, you can ask me and I'll connect some dots for you. So
I have a question for either you, Anthony, or Jeff. Is there a way to get a list of all the city names with the associated information, contact information for each one of the DLE members?
Yeah,
I can put that together. I'm going to probably make you sign something with your life that you won't publish it to somebody. I would like to keep it private if you guys don't mind, but I'm happy to share it with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It just make it easier because sometimes if they're not logged on and I forget who, and like there's been a couple of times where I could have sworn somebody was a DLE member because they're on the team, like through Felix, because we're so cohesive, but then I find out they're not a DLE. And
well, we've had some people, and we've had some people drop off. We've had people in and out. I mean, it's a moving target. You know, there probably will come a day when we get to the point where I've got to publish maybe a list in some kind of password protected member only site on the website, but we're not quite there yet. Okay. I'll send you guys something, but I don't want it to get in some guy's hands. I think Felix would be a little pissed off at me if it turned out that somebody was prospecting everybody because they got their hands on that list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think just keep it simple, guys. Just look, Jeff's super.
Just call me
there for you. Just call Jeff. And then for this too, it's like Jeff. It's like we have access to data where we could actually pull up, you know, based off of sales volume, the top dog in your area, right? Like if we haven't decided to recruit a member in a city that you're looking for, we could get you the data on, you know, the top 3 so you can ensure that the deal will close, right? So just keep that in mind. We're all over, and you know.
Well, I noticed, like, you know, like through just because I am on Felix's team, and Felix's team, I can message there, and there's pretty active. On the DLE, I can't tell sometimes. Like sometimes people don't even view what I've posted on the DLE little Facebook page we have, and so sometimes you want to just say, "Hey, who's here?" Because I may forget that Sonia's in Miss Thousand Oaks. I mean, her and I have talked a lot, so I remember. But to be honest, I always forget what Frank is, even though I know it was Mr. Hayward, right?
That's where you hit the add. Yeah, you hit the add everyone button, and then when you do that, it syndicates to everyone just in that Facebook group we're a part of, right? But just Jeff or myself, we'll kick you in the right direction. We're here to support you, and just post in the Facebook group, and just you do the add everyone. You do that, it'll shoot out to every single member.
I have a question on that. I was told you can only do that once.
Once per day.
Once per day per yourself, or once, like if I do it and then Conrad can't do it?
I think it's per person.
Per person?
Yeah, but real quick, just to add on to this, I'm not going to get into any of the tech, but I do run a team of a lot of people, and we're in communication daily. We use either Slack or WhatsApp. WhatsApp is really good too. It's instantaneous because I can put at Mr. Huntington Beach, give me a call. I have a client for you, and it's going to go to your cell phone instantaneously and not have to wait for you to actually check the app. So there's a lot more efficiency there if you guys want to look into that. I think networking and integrating our network like this, especially with the amounts of people that are in there, is the key to success very early on, especially it's early with us, but when it starts to get to a lot of people, we should work on the foundation right now. And for me, getting in touch with people in Fresno, if I have a buyer, instead of me having to bother Anthony or bother anybody else and go directly to him because we're part of the same family.
That was my point, is because sometimes we don't know who's in what city. You know what I mean? So, and I do know it's comes because I've done Slack before too. And then finally I had to get off of it because they were asking a million questions, but to like everybody, and the phone was constantly beeping.
Yeah, I just put mine on silent. I put mine on silent, or vibrates when somebody requests my name.
I think we should do WhatsApp because I got a lot of VAs, you know, like the web development team, the SEO team that's doing the metadata infusions on the photos. They're all on WhatsApp.
That's
But
what I use. Yeah, all my VAs, everybody that's overseas is all on WhatsApp for me.
Right. So I think we'll start like a DLE WhatsApp, you know, group, but you could do the same thing, you know, Mr. Rancher, on the Facebook, how you do the at button or you at
Right.
Mr. Okay. So I'll get
The Facebook does it for now. Just do that, and I'll publish a list so you know what the other designations are. You know, we do have some obligation to, you know, to try to, you know, you guys didn't sign up for this so that you'd be hounded by people, trying to, shove business stuff your way. I mean, this is kind of a classy organization, so we want to make sure that we just keep it to ourselves, and don't we have something get outside.
I wasn't looking at it to solicit, but like Conrad was like, "Hey, dude, I got a link to here," and he knew to call me just because him and I have talked so much. But if, like I said, there's some people like I'm not sure where Stan is, and whoever iPhone is, I don't know what city or who,
Right.
so I wouldn't even know to reach out to them.
You're absolutely right, George. I'll publish a list and send it to everybody that has the all of the designations. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, and I've got one other thing I was going to say. I'll make this real quick. For people that may have an interest in the bulletins, but don't want to go big with thousands and thousands, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, with a big EDDM mail campaign. We found a printer that does high quality, top-notch work in the tens or hundreds range. And so if you want to do bulletins, but you've never wanted to bite off, 5,000 of them and do a big mailing, we've now got a source that I've checked out and I feel really good about. If you want to do a couple hundred for, your first go at door knocking, or to put them on at some location, some local business that has given you the right to, put your bulletins there. If you want to do a test, I've got a low cost way for you to do a few hundred of something. Anyway, just reach out to me if it sounds good. Because we've got a lot of people now off the phone, I'll probably send something that describes that as well.
Yeah, and then with that too, that also, think about the listing appointment, guys. That that book I mailed you with the White House is gold. When I go on these listing appointments, you could get them for like $10. Maybe you just get 5 of them. When I drop that in the metal business card on the listing appointment, it blows away the competition because I'm specialized in that area like a surgeon, right? And then when I slide that metal business card into page 13, the withdrawal guarantee section, and not only do I win the listing against the competition, but I usually get them signed at 6. So I definitely look into that, because I know a lot of you, because the contact we had, I know Mr. Huntington Beach has a contact too, but I have found a tremendous amount of success putting on a listing appointment and dropping that pre-listing package. It blows everything else away. So Jeff's got a way where you can get them for like $10 a pop. So that's nice.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.